Aldis. How are you?
It's my Grogu buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Um, to start, I'm fascinated by this movie and all of the different kind of, versions of Alex that you got to bring to life throughout it. Did you have kind of a mapping of what each Alex was going to be before you went into the project? Or how did you kind of like figure out exactly what spaces Alex was going to be like?
So we kind of did have a mapping. We adapted this film from an original, it's a Chinese film called Parallel Forest. And we saw it and we thought it was just really amazing. And we wanted to bring that to uh, this side of the map, you know? So the difference was how do we appropriately address some of those subtleties and some of those changes um, that make sense for this version of Alex and this relationship with this Vanessa, i.e. Danielle. So we had a roadmap, and then from there, we just kind of allowed ourselves to pick and choose emotionally where we wanted them to go.
And I talked to your brother the other day, and I think it's so fascinating when like family members are playing actual family members, not
Yeah.
just because it's like, oh wow, that's a family, but because it does take a pressure off of, two actors to have to go back and create an entire relationship. For
Mhm.
you, how was it like, playing these two brothers who, in the context of this film, have a lot of trauma that the whole family is working through, but there are moments where they get to be like fun brothers and they're messing with each other and it has that level as well.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you, it is uh, a great deal more fun being able to work alongside my brother in this capacity for sure. But the pressure is still on to perform well and to make sure that, you know, the relationship that they have is authentic because it's not my relationship with my brother Ed. We have a great relationship, but still, you know, when we approach it and we were writing it, we wanted to make sure that these guys had a distinguished relationship in their real or not real, their primary existence. And then when we bled out into other versions, we wanted to make sure to distinguish those as much as possible. Just so, and it's all done in subtlety, but we just wanted to make sure that they were very poignant. So we had the challenge of figuring out not really one brother relationship, but like, two, three, four different brother relationships, and we're kind of like swimming in our heads trying to figure out which version we are today. But we just wanted to make those sort of as specific as we could. And I think we did it, but I hope we, but yeah, it was fun. It was a good time.
Yeah, totally. And I do what I love about this movie is like nothing is completely set in stone. Like you don't necessarily believe like there's at one point where Vanessa thinks she gets back to her actual space and everything is horrid. And I'm like, well, I don't think that you actually I don't think that was your space. That's just like
I don't
one
know.
thing was the same. Like I don't think
Yeah.
that that actually happened. And that's what I kind of like about this movie. You can have all these different perspectives. For you though, was there an Alex that was more fun to kind of get to play than like, your brother said you guys named them like Angry Alex and like all the different versions had their names.
uh, it's tough because they all presented different things. I would say the original Alex, um, he encompassed. I would say they encompassed all different points of personality. Original Alex, he was like heart, soul. He was compassion. There was a different version that was more aggressive and a little bit more um, lost. There was another Alex that was a bit more manipulative and a bit more narcissistic in nature. So, if anyone, I mean, naturally, I would say the original Alex that had more compassion is
Mhm.
it's obviously someone I'm more likened to and someone I fall more into naturally. But the other versions of Alex presented more challenges as an actor.
Mhm.
So they were more fun to play just because they were a bit more foreign for me personally.
And do you like it is an adaptation and it is, when you are adapting something, you have to still also honor the thing you were adapting while making it your own. Were there ever moments where when you were crafting Alex and all these different versions that you thought back to the original film, or was it more like you wanted him to be completely his own character and stand apart from that movie?
Well, uh I never had the thought of like we have to make it different because we knew that it was going to be different anyway, just because culturally there's so many different differences. The original movie Chinese, we have different family structures, different base values, things like that. Um, so we knew that it was automatically going to be different. We definitely wanted to honor the original film in terms of what we loved from it, the nuance, the mystery, the I think it was very intellectually engaging from an emotional place, and those are the elements we were trying to bring to this film. We wrote it, so honoring the original basis is always there. Understanding that we're going to be confident in creating something different is automatic, but we have to be aware of that because different is great, but um, does different move us away from the thing that we originally loved? And those were conversations we had early on with the rest of the producing team and things like that, with not trying to get too different and not trying to westernize this too much and then kill the whole visage of what the original story was that inspired us.
And the thing is, I talked to your brother and I was like, that ending. And he was like, you're like the fourth person to bring this up to me. But it is so fascinating that everyone at the end of this movie is like, why does he not want to hike? And like we all kind of clung to like what's going on. Like, are none of these people actually in their own spaces? Or maybe it's only Alex kind of deal. That mystery is always, very fun for the audience. But when you guys get to play
That's the
those scenes,
question.
when you get to play those scenes, what is fun for you, like as an actor, knowing that all of us are going to start freaking out in the last couple moments of this movie?
I'll be honest with you. We wore multiple hats, my brother and I, on this film. So for me, I was probably more stressed than anything. Because I was like, I hope people get it. I hope they get it right. I hope we get it right so that people understand what we're trying to do here.
Mhm.
And I'm happy that you said what you said because that is it. We don't know if anybody got home. Um, but is that important? Or is it important for them to be in a happier place if, home is not so great?
Mhm.
What's important? So I think that's kind of the question that we'd like to leave, or at least one of the questions the audience is left off with, to discuss is what is a better reality? You know, um, the one that's not so great, or the unknown that may present better opportunities.
Yeah. I love that ending so much. I was like, what's going on? Why is he not like I just started jumping to a million conclusions. But for my last question, I do have to ask, the last time we talked, I said I wanted you in the MCU very, very badly. My dream casting didn't work out, but I still want you in the MCU. You went from being in a like cop detective comedy movie to
Mhm.
this in the span of, I think I talked to you last month. So like in a month,
Yeah, a couple of weeks.
yeah, it's been like that. When you are constantly kind of like changing everything you're doing, you're having fun, people know you from a million different things. What for you is like something you haven't done yet that you really kind of do want to do?
Um, I guess in the space of acting, playing a Jedi,
Relatable.
you know. Um, but there are a great many other things that I want to jump on. There's a couple biopics I want to jump on that are really uh, fantastic. There's a couple of stories of folklore um, that deal with deities that I think are cool. You know, that kind of it's usually in the fantasy space. And then, I mean, I've got a couple of projects that I'm writing that are rooted in reality. But at the end of the day, what I focus on is I definitely want to continue writing, continue producing. I want to get better at that, and I want to be able to execute stories how I see them in my vision, because that's the most difficult thing at the end of the day is, you start with one thing, you're on a team, and everybody has a different version of what that is, and you want to make sure that you're getting as much of your vision in there as possible. And for me, when I approach all these different subjects, because as you said, I'm always jumping into different like my mind is always in different areas. I want to do as many different roles as possible. I want to play 10 different characters that you put in a room and they can all have a conversation and you think you're talking to 10 different people. I don't want you to recognize, I don't want any of them to look like any of them. But I just want to, whatever it is, I just want to get better at my work. I want to get better at what I'm doing, and I want to be able to put out work that teaches me something at the end of the day. So I'm all that to say I'm not looking for anything easy. I'm looking for as many challenges as possible.
I can't wait. I always love watching you and stuff. And I really, really, really liked Parallel, and I can't wait for people to get to see it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great one.
You too.